Yeah, he's recording now.
Recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's recording. Go on.
What's happening, boys? What's happening, Sher? Tejas?
Yes, Aman.
Yeah, no, bro.
So, we're here
Tejas.
today. This is our first podcast that we're going to do to basically illustrate what we've been doing the last 4 years, which is our India versus Pakistan game we do for charity. So, I'm Aman Rai, as I mentioned, Sher Khan, not the tiger from Jungle Book.
Don't. What, I was waiting for that, man. I was absolutely waiting for that. You don't really want to dig into that.
And Tejas is here. But yeah, we're just going to... usually we'll have Aman here as well, but he's messaged us saying he can't make it because he's not well. But we are the main organisers that actually put together the team, India versus Pakistan. Yeah. And I just want to touch up briefly how it all started. I think 4 years ago, it was initially like a birthday thing I wanted to do to give back to charity. But I got Sher involved because I said, you know what, let's put some excitement into it. Let's do Pakistan. Good rivalry, bit of banter. People from, our town, Crawley, just going head to head. And I like that. I like a bit of, competition. And it's quite funny enough because, like Tejas, he does Monday Night Football. Big Aman does Thursday Night Football. And we always know, like, you and your boys, you do a similar sort of thing. It's like a 7 to 8-a-side football game. And we all love football. It's a passion of football. But why not get together, do an 11-a-side, and just make it a hood competition? So, so we've been pretty consistent with that. But unfortunately, India, I don't really want to say it, but we lost 3 on a bounce, and we only won the first game. But it really goes to show that how good Pakistan, you boys are at football. I mean, you guys are really good. What do you think of that, Sher?
Don't know really, man. We just play as a team. That's how I look at it. I just say to the boys, I mean, because obviously I don't play football as much no more, as you know. Before I should play, I remember, was it like I was playing every day, like probably 7 days a week, down to about 3 or 4. Now, pretty much nothing. I've always said the only game that I would actually consider playing is the Pakistani versus Indians, and thankfully, obviously, I'm one of the organisers, as well as you are. But going back to should we go back to the first game?
The first game was a brilliant game. I think we won.
Yeah, you're saying that because we won that game, right?
No. To be fair, we'll go back to that first game because I remember speaking to Aman about it. Obviously, before organising the game, speaking to Aman, and obviously he said, "Look, let's organise a game." Blah blah blah. But obviously, it's so easy to organise a game, but at the same time, it's a lot of people. It's not as simple as people make out. Like you got to get your best 11, but not just that. You got to get your 4 or 5 subs. But again, not everyone's happy. Like when you do the time, let's be real. With a WhatsApp group or anything like that, how many people are disappointed when you see the starting lineup and you're not in it? Like you get a lot of disappointment. Trust me, I know you guys do it as well. Mate. I've had people leave the group and now I've had to go get last minute replacements. It's just a joke. But the first game, you guys, I've always said, it's not just a lot of people say, talk about Mitts being your one-man play. I disagree personally. I think the way you guys play, you can tell you play a lot of 6-7-side football because you're passing and everything's on point. I think when you play as a team, and I feel like even in that game where it was 6-2, I feel like we had a lot of chances, but you guys were just more clinical. Like, I feel like every chance you got, you just put them away. And this ain't just Mitts as well. I'm talking about other players like Roots and, even Esh as well. Like, Esh put in a few, I think, in that day. But it's just, I think you guys were a lot more clinical in that game. And to be fair, you had a stronger team. That was, for me, your strongest team. Not just up front and midfield, but even in defence. I think you had Aman played in that game.
Yeah, we had yeah, he did. I think that first game we did, that first 11 side, that was our strongest team we've actually played in 4 years. Since then, we've had players that, even this year, we had a fairly strong team, but some of our players were playing with injuries, with knocks. We're missing Gudge, who's instrumental for us.
Coming out that, boys. Yeah, I like it.
It's not an excuse either way. We lost, right? at the end of the day, you play with what you've got, right? And
No,
I think back 4 years ago, that was our strongest team. And I think, as you said, Sherry, like it comes down to playing as a team, right? You can every club has, or every 11-a-side team will have one star player or a few outrageous players, right? But if you haven't got the people backing them to do the other stuff, I mean, as you just say, everyone says Mitch is the one guy that everyone looks at, right? But Mitch is playing up top. If you didn't have the defenders or the defensive midfielders or the wingers tracking back, mate, he's not going to win the game on his own, right?
No, 100%.
So that's the point of this, like having that team as a team.
Yeah, I mean, looking at again, even in that game, I remember you had someone in midfield, and for me, it seemed like you based the team around him. I can't remember what his name was. He's quite tall.
No, Hazard.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
No, Hazard didn't start. Hazard was on the bench that game.
No.
We started with Dudham. First game, we based the team around Dudham to do his play because he's the one that's physical and he can ping the ball in all directions.
And do you know what it was? Yeah, like it wasn't even just that. I just liked how he played. It was just simple. As soon as he got the ball, a simple 5-yard pass, head up, looking forward, and he kind of reminded me like a Michael Carrick type of player. Like, I know it's probably guys would think out of all players, but like the way he was so calm on the ball and just controlling the midfield, I felt like he was your best player, and I feel like. I don't know whether you played him in the last game, but I don't think you played him since then, have you? Or...
No, we did play him in the last game, but we've had to play him out of a different position because we've had to drop other players or people aren't available or people are injured or whatever, right? And because he's such a versatile player, he can do so many different things on the pitch. Like he's like you could put him up top and he would do a job. You could put him in defensive midfield. You put him in the centre of the park. You put him left wing and he'll cut through players and run past them type thing.
But the thing is his strongest position's probably like centre midfield, isn't it? Really, because I just remember him getting the ball, and I don't actually remember him losing the ball once because I remember that game quite clearly because I was a little bit. I thought we had our strong. Well, at the time. Yeah. Even before the game, I had our strongest team out, but since then I had to drop a few players because I was disappointed, man. Like,
I think the last game that Durham played in was quite tough because you really clouded. I know you didn't play. You had a boxing match that day or something.
That's right.
But he had a bit of a tough time because that midfield was so clouded. It was clustered.
It was rammed.
I mean, we had our two best midfielders. We had Roops and Durham in there. And it was so hard for them to distribute anything to anyone because it was really the wingers and the players up top that were doing anything. But it was such a tough midfield.
The centre of the park was just so packed. Every time I was playing centre back, every time I looked up, I had the ball. If I look up, I didn't want to play it in the middle. I had to look for the wing because that's where the space was. Because you guys, I think you had 3 guys in your midfield, and we had 3, and most of the guys don't move off the ball. This thing we're not professional footballers, right? So
of course. We got to play
first 20 minutes. People get tired on 11-a-side pitch. We're not used to playing 11-a-side, so people stop moving as much. So when you got 6 people in such a crowded space, players like Dudham are just going to get like these surrounded, right? So given the ball, he's got 3 guys right around him within 10, 15 space steps of him.
I just want to touch on something quickly, right? You just said sharing it. Like earlier on, you said. You know, you got your WhatsApp group, you're trying to organise all your players and everything like that, and everyone wants to get a game. You know, I know it first started off as a bit of football game, banter, you know, it's just for doing it for charity and everything. But, you know, it got quite serious, like everyone really wants to play. And then I know last game we had a bit of a kind of issue, didn't we, T? Like, everyone wanted a game and we couldn't really structure how to get everyone involved, but at the same time win the game. You know what I'm trying to say, and
I think that's what caused our downfall in that last game.
Yeah,
we were 4-3 up. I think that's what caused our downfall in that game because before half time we were 4-3 up. Was it Aman or 3-2?
Yeah, so we were losing 3-0. Then we were like 5-3 or something. We were winning by 2 goals, and then everyone wants to play, so you have to get everyone contribute. Yeah. But the thing is, you lose a game like we did. And, you know, we had drinks afterwards and stuff, but everyone felt like shit. And everyone's, like, taking it serious, like, okay, no, we have to win. Like, next game, we have to put a system in place so you know that we win. Because I think the last 2-3 years, everyone is up their game and they're really trying to take the game a bit more seriously. Like I think the whole banter, friendly charity game is there, but it's not as subtle now. I think people are trying to like, you know what? We play football every Monday. We play football every Thursday. We want to give it all now on a Saturday on 11 aside.
But that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Gives you that motivation for the year, right? So I mean, we play football Mondays and Thursdays, right? I get that we do it because we enjoy football. We want to get out. And to be honest, I organise Monday football, right? And the reason I do it is because I love the fact that like I'm organising something where I'm going to see half the boys who I'm probably not going to see on a weekly or even a monthly basis if we didn't do football, right? And plus, we all love football, right? Sitting there watching football is great, but when we were kids, we played football 5 days a week.
Exactly. I mean, I remember one time I was playing with you boys a lot. I think like 2-3 times a week. So it's especially I think you, Tejas, and Esh and a few others.
Yeah.
But that's another topic we'll get into at some point. But
definitely.
you know, I mean, I don't know. I just think again, looking at the game where you guys won 6-2, I just felt like we had a lot of chances, and I was pissed off. I tell you straight, I was pissed off in that game. Not because, don't get me wrong, you're going to be angry, you're going to be pissed off if you lose it. But I just pissed off my team because I just felt like there's a couple people, and I don't know if you boys have noticed, they haven't played since.
Yeah.
And again, listen, we're not all professional football players, but man, like there's certain things players were doing, you know, just to get their ego. I mean, their egos get the better of them. But then when it comes to the big game, they fucking crumble. And again, for me personally, is if you're going to do stuff with us, like, you know, like when we have our own kickabout and stuff, if you're going to start doing things like that, why don't you do it in the big game as well? And I just felt like that game. And the thing is, there's a certain someone that he's played 2 of the games. That was the last he played, and I've not played him since. It's only because I just felt like it weren't just the fact he was playing poorly. It was just the fact that he just weren't listening. He's a guy that you don't listen. And the thing is if you ain't got no one, if you got a player that ain't listening, let's be real. How's that going to benefit the team? You got that one, you know, the guy that's, you know, he's going to call shit in the team, and it's just the chemistry on the team's gone. And that, for me, I mean, again, don't get me wrong, that ain't the excuse because you guys played fucking unreal that day. Yeah, it was your strongest team.
No, but you're saying that, right? But we have the same thing. That game we won, there was someone who was in our team that game, and he hasn't played any of the last 3. Good footballer. He's not the best in the world, but he's a good footballer. He does play. But the problem I had was when I asked him to go off, he kicked off. The point of him going off, it's a team game, right?
Team game, exactly.
I've been put in charge to make the subs by Aman because I can see the game from the centre-back position.
Yeah.
So if I'm asking you to go off, I'm asking you to go off for a reason. And if you're kicking off in the middle of the game, like, what are you doing?
Could have cost you the game, didn't you? Do you know what I mean?
And at that point, it was only, I think it was in just the start of the second half, we were 4-2 up at that point. So the next goal was basically pivotal. If we went 3 goals up, it's a different game. If you get another goal, that's a completely different game, right? And since that day, I haven't played him in.
Good.
Aman, whenever we have the conversation, that name, if it comes up, I just strike it off straight away. It's just not happening. I'm sorry.
The thing is, T, how different is it? Like, there's so many good, 6-a-side, 7-a-side footballers that we play with, right?
Yep.
And we've all done it. It's Monday or Thursday, we say after the game, mate, he's playing on that day. But when it comes to 11-a-side game, they just don't turn up. They go.
I can say that as well, right?
It's a different game, man. It's a completely different.
Even
game.
Me, right? Don't get me wrong. I play every week, every Monday, every Thursday. I play, right, and I play in centre defence every week. And I'm not gonna lie, I have bad games and good games, but normally I'm always there, physical, tough, and it's hard to get past me. Right?
Yeah, it's
on a 7-a-side pitch. It's very easy, very, very easy for me to play that because I play week in, week out. 11-a-side is a complete different game. We play 7-a-side. I've got someone to my left or someone to my right. That's it. Right? I've got Winner on my right or left. I've got Goodge on my right or left, or Rickin right or left, or Aman right or left, whatever, right? But when on a 7-a-side pitch, I've got one on the right, one on my left. I've got 3 people running at me instead of just the one guy coming at me.
Yeah.
And this year, I had a terrible game this year. Don't get me wrong. I made so many. I saw me making mistakes. That's why I took myself off. I was like, I need to come off and take a breather, because I just couldn't keep up with the pace of the game. I was making silly mistakes. Sarks was running circles around me. just because I wasn't ready for him and I wasn't ready for the game, right?
No, it's tough, man. Shay, I just want to ask you a question, Shay. On the last 3-4 games we played, I know the first one we played 6-2, and then I think the next game we organised with Wasim, and then the last two we organised with you. But have you come across any encounters with the opposition thinking, I didn't like that with the Indian side, or you shouldn't have done that? And what's your basically input on that?
Could you say repeat that again? What was that last bit? Was that first bit you said?
No, the last few games that we've had against India versus Pakistan. Have you ever come across an Indian player where you kind of had a run-in with, or had a bit of
a heated moment? Yeah,
heated moment where you think, oh look, because it's India versus Pakistan, right? So if it's going to be a heated moment, how heated can it get?
I'll tell you what, right? In the 6-2 game, and again, this is the person that Tej has just mentioned, but I'm not going to mention his name just out of pure respect, obviously for him and his family or whatever. I don't want that said about him, but I got to say how it is at the same time. This one time, I think he won 6-2. Like you guys won the game. I've heard him say, "Yeah, we beat the Pakis 6-2," and like for me personally, is listen, right? I'm Pakistani, you're Indians, and I correct him, said, "Yeah, Pakistanis, yeah, you beat the Pakistanis 6-2, not the Pakis." And he goes, "Oh, calm down, mate. It's a bit of banter." I was like, "No, it's not fucking banter, mate. It's racist, isn't it? I don't give a fuck." Like, in the day, I look at you guys like, you know, a lot of like, if someone says something about Indians and stuff, like saying whatever, but if I hear that, because I heard someone say something about Indians once, and do you know what? I said, I haven't played him. Again, that's another guy I haven't played since. It's only because I want, you put your respect in that to the side when the game comes, but at the same time, you still got to respect the person, don't it? Forget the football. You as a player. Yeah, you put the respect aside, but as a person, you got respect. You can't be, saying, using some disrespectful, negative words in that. And that's why, for me, this person, I just had to add a little thing with him after. I said, "Look, mate," I had to tell him how it is, and he said a few things, and I walked away. I think if that was me, like a couple of years before that, I probably would have done something, but I just think I was a better man and just walked away. The second time, right? This is funny. Can I mention this guy's name? Only just a bit of banter.
Depends. Is he on this? Is he on the call first? That's it, right?
Not on the call. No. Actually, no. I won't actually say that. Actually, I won't.
No, it's just up to you, man. Like everyone.
You can say it, but obviously you got to understand it's a biased opinion. So like he's not here to defend himself. Yeah. But you can say it. I'm sure like he'll probably come on. I already said it.
Well, mixed. Well, basically, I remember it was a 6-2 game, and what he's done is right. He's because I had my brother playing centre back at the time, my older brother, and basically he's my brother's. It was a 50-50 challenge, but Mitch has gone down. And listen, don't get me wrong, I know you want to win the game, and I know you've got to use certain tactics to win in that, even little snidey ones as well. So we all been there at the same time. But my thing is when it's a big game, and listen, Mitch, for me, is by far the best player. Like, that's, in my opinion, he's by far the best player on the pitch. Like, I can't question anyone on that, because for me, just everything, he's all around, he's just quality. But he sort of dived, like, he went down like as if someone's, I don't know, like, took, 2-foot him or something. So obviously, he shouted loud at the ref, like, "Ref, blah, blah, blah." So my brother said to him, "Look, man, what are you doing that for? Like, play fair." And I heard him say to my brother, "Look, I've got to shout a few times because, the ref might give it." So I think to myself, like, all right, cool. At the same time is, let it slide this time. So the next game, where we won, it's 5-4, wasn't it? It's 5-4 or 6-5, I can't remember. So I'm forgetting this result. But in that game, I said to Mitch before the game, I was like, "Look, Mitch, like, look, we all know you're the best player on the pitch, right? And just play fair, man. Don't do these diving bullets, because in the day, if there's no referee and you dive, you ain't getting a penalty. Simple as that. We know you've dived. But let's just say there's a referee there and he's giving a penalty. We got to respect that. Regardless of what's happened, we still got to respect the decision." So he's obviously dived. And again, this is quite early on in the game. So everyone's thinking, like, why Cher fucking having a go at him so early on? But it's the fact that it was literally 2 minutes before the game. I said to him, I was like, "Look, mate, please, just, play fair, man. If you want, listen, for me, if you want to win the game, you got to fucking win it the hard way." And that's what we did that day. We won the game the hard way. Do you know what I mean? And Mitz obviously went down, and I've just sort of went up to him. I was like, Mitz, why are you fucking diving, blah, 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 whatever. I said, sorry, guys. I said a few things to him, like, out of you in a moment. But it was funny because I didn't speak to him at all in that whole half, but we went to the half-time break and had a little kiss and cuddle, and that was it. So, but Mitz, again, he's harmless, you know what I mean? He's only wants to do well, but again, I just disagreed him that day, only because, like, for me, is if you're going to win, like I say, if you're going to win the game, you've got to win it the hard way. It's simple as that. So
and that's perfect though, because at the end of the day, like, I hate nice games, man. I just really hate really nice friendly games. I like a bit of aggression. I like a bit of fight in it. I want someone to barge me. I want to feel some pressure. But you got to understand, I don't go to bed with that. I don't say, I should knock this guy out. I think after the game, shake hands.
Yeah, 100%.
It's done. You know what? We had a bit of a scramble, but after that, I'm happy. I feel like I've had a release. Back in the days, like when we used to play, I used to get so frustrated out of nothing. I used to get angry, kick the post, and be all sorts. I calm down now. Mate. But what's the point of playing if you're not going to play with no heart, no passion, and no aggression? I think there's no point even turning up. If you want to, just do it as a social thing, fair enough. But, put some effort into it. T, I just want to ask you the same question. Have you ever come across a Pakistani player that you thought, hold on a minute, you better calm himself down a little bit?
Yeah, so there's a few occasions, right? Because obviously, like, me, I'm the loudest guy on the pitch by far. There ain't no one's going to shout louder than me. As soon as I get on that pitch, I'll just become I'll just use my head, bro. That's it.
You can't mention names, by the way. You got my permission.
No, I'll mention this guy's name because me and him are really good friends now, right? Like, it's Zakib, right? This is the first game. It's the first time we did it. It was the first half.
Who's Zakib? Is it Akib?
No, Zakib. He's a defender. He played with us on Monday a few times.
Oh, yeah.
Tall guy. Good footballer, right?
Was this the second game? This might be the second game. LG lot.
No. This was the first game. This is the game where I broke my wrist.
Oh, fucking hell.
Remember, because I was running down, so the ball was going out and it would come off me. So I was running towards the flank, and I just kicked the ball away. But he came into me and he shoved me, right? And I went flying and I landed on the ground. It was wet and I kept sliding. And as I was sliding, I was landed on my wrist. My wrist twisted, and as I pulled it out, it smashed against the fence, the tiger turf fence. And I was out for a bit.
Damn, boy.
And then I got up, and when I got up, everyone was around me. And
that was crazy.
You're fine. And I literally just woke up, and I was in some fucking next rage, and I just I was lucky I didn't lose my head and start kicking off. Right? Yeah. But I got up and I go, all right, if that's how you want to play, let's get physical. And literally from that moment onwards, that game for me was, we are winning this. I don't care, right? By hook or by crook, we are winning this game. And I was so much more physical in that game towards the end of it as well. But not physical to the point where I want to break someone's leg or anything. It was just like, the striker's going to know I'm on him. He's going to know I'm right behind you. Even if you're faster than me, I will make up that space and I'll get back.
Do you know, it's funny.
At the end of that game, me and him were really good friends, to be fair. And I talked to him more than I talked to some of the guys I play football with on Monday, to be fair. Really great guy, but obviously in the heat of the moment, it's very different. Right?
Yeah.
Your passion overtakes all of that stuff.
The last game we got a text from someone. Oh, there shares me off. Wait.
Sorry, boys.
No.
I'm on the phone to Pakistani, so I thought you know how loud they're talking.
Yeah, I know, man.
That's why I'm upstairs.
You can hear them very clear, but you still got to shout, innit? That's how it is.
That's what I mean, it's mental. Oh, don't honestly. So, what were you going to say there, Aman?
I remember the last game we got a leak. I'm not going to say no names or nothing, but it was a text message, and it's saying it was like a WhatsApp group, and it was like the Pakistan players were saying, "Oh, let's just." I don't know, let's push around these Indians. They're weak, they're fragile, or something like that. And I was just like,
was this, how long before the game was this then?
This is this year game.
This is a couple of days before the game.
A couple of days before the game.
I weren't in the.
I was like, what do you mean Indians are weak? Have you seen T? Yeah, you seen how big he is? Yeah. Well, I was like, all right, have you seen our Punjabi boys? Yeah, we bring them on the pitch as well.
It's funny. It's funny. Again, it's funny you say that because I feel like. I mean, before, for me, when we first started playing, I think strength-wise, I feel like technically you guys were better. I feel we had strength, but I feel like when as the games went by, you guys got stronger, and I felt like it's another game that you guys won 6-2. When I talk about that was your strongest team, not just obviously technically, but I just felt like physically, like you had some big guys. I remember one of the games I was doing a little shimmy on the ball, but I had this. It might have been Hammond, you know. I don't know. It might have been Hammond. It might be something else. Like some big geezer, and he's like, I could hear him breathing heavy behind me, and I'm thinking, right, if I don't move, this guy's gonna flash me. This guy's gonna put me in my face. Like I would have probably went face first down, like, you know what I mean. But I see, I literally just heard him breathing. I just going left and right. As soon as he's obviously dived in, I've just went left and boom, I was passing. But it's just little things. I felt like that day in my head, I was like, yeah, these guys have definitely like stepped it up, like in terms of not just obviously. I mean, your technical ability is always there, but I feel like strength. Like obviously, Tej, you've always been the strongest guy. Like for me, you're always the strongest guy there. But I feel like you had a better. I can't remember. I couldn't remember his name, but he was some big fella, man. He's probably about 6 foot.
That game was our best defender. That game was Aman, and then Prit came on, and he was solid. Because I went off when my wrist was just hurting a bit too much. Prit came on for me. And this guy was at that time. He was
and Amandeep were
late 30s, right? And he came on and he was just solid. But he's not someone's going to run at you. He knows how to positionally hold himself, and he knows he will not get knocked off the ball.
He's a bit like a Gary Neville, isn't he? He's not that quick, but he's solid.
But yeah, I think that game we were a lot more physical. But as time's gone on, I think the difference is now, right? It's a lot of us that play on a Monday and on a Thursday, we try and play very, very technical football. So we've sort of lost that punch in our game where it's like to get physical or to get stuck in, because we're not doing that, like run with the players. So I'm never running. So if Esh is running down the wing, I'm never running with him because he stops and he cuts in or he does this. So there's never a chance for me and him to get that physical.
Do you know, it's again, looking at the games now, for me, it's not, I don't think it's down to who's better, who's more technical, who's stronger, who's more physical, who's fast, whatever. I think it's more down to who wants it more.
Yeah,
and I feel like, do you know where? I mean, I feel like every game's always close, but it's always that last 20 minutes when everyone's feeling, fatigued, everyone's burning. It's that last 20 minutes who really wants it. And I just felt like in that, the game where we went 5-4, I was, honest to God, like I was so mad as well, because I think we was up like 4-1, I think at the time, or
you were up killing us at the start of the game,
and then obviously Mitch scored. I think it was a header he scored, which is fair play to him. But there was another goal where the keepers obviously panicked. He pretty much passed it to Mitz.
Yeah,
and Mitz, without doubt, was gonna. If he had 100 of those shots, he'll put 100 of them away. But in that game, I was just vexed, and then to see that goal, that goal in the end was just because from my angle, right, I was on the right. It just looked like he's just laced it, but when you look at the video, it was a lace / side of his foot, wasn't it?
So I'm standing in the wall, right, and I'm watching him run. I'm looking at him like, "What are you doing, man?" Don't even try it, because I was just thinking, like, look, even if you get it over us, it's going to go blazing well over the bar, or it's going to go
wide in it,
hit the corner flag or something. But the moment he hit the ball, I think everyone in the wall knew that this is either going in or it's on target or something.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know about this is Sarks' goal. Basically, it was the 90th minute. I mean, this game had drama. It had so much passion in it. But we were drawing against Pakistan. But
4-4, man.
It was 4-4. There was a free kick, and it was literally about outside the box, probably a few yards outside the box.
So about 22
yards from the goal. And
20.
It was an epic free kick. I mean, he took it, and it had spin, it had speed, it had everything, and it went top right of the corner. And the most amazing thing is that it somehow went to Sports Bible. It's got 250,000 views, and even Paul Pogba, I can't even fucking say his name.
Who's Pogba?
Paul Pogba. Give me Pogba, innit? Paul Pogba actually commented on it, and he actually watched it, and he did it as a little sports Bible sort of thing. He was reading on really good goals, and he said it was almost like Cristiano Ronaldo-like. So, yeah, that's amazing. I mean, Sark must be buzzing to just have that.
Do you know what's funny?
It's amazing.
Do you know with Sark, right? And I'm not just saying this because he's, he's a good power one, but every goal, Sark scores, he can score a normal goal as well. Like, he can score tapping. Like, if he gets a one-on-one chance, he's going to put it away. He's one of them. He's very clinical. But I've seen Sark score worldies, like, even just before that game. So when he scored that goal, a lot of people like it was fluky, but it weren't, because I'll be honest, Sark's got that in his locker. He's actually, I've seen him score some crackers, and believe me, like I wish this. I'm going back like 10 years back. He scored his volley one time. I don't know. He's controlled it. Honestly, it was a little bit like Rooney's against Newcastle. And I kid you not, I'm not even over exaggerating. It was game between the Bulford West Lane Green. And honestly, he scored that goal. And again, he only had 3 chances, and he scored 3 goals. That was literally that was the bottom line. Like he didn't waste. Let's put it this way, he didn't waste it. But I've seen him score some absolute worldies, and I think when he scored that, you'd be surprised. A lot of people turned around and said, "Oh yeah, that's a bit fluky, this and that." Like, listen, you guys probably heard it as well. But for me personally, I've seen him score worldies, and do you know what I mean? And even that, when he scored that, I wasn't even surprised. Again, don't want to sound big-headed. It was just, I wasn't surprised because the geezer's got it in him. And it was funny because after, when it went in, it was on video and everything. And I spoke to him after, and he was buzzing, bless him. I think, like, I said to him after, I was like,
mate, if that was me, I'd be sending that to my whole family in India. I'd be like, listen, this is what we do over here. You lot walk around cricket bats, yeah? I'll be sending it to everyone, man.
Do you know what's mad, right? It's obviously
not that I'd never be able to do that, but yeah.
You never know, mate. Stranger things have happened, though. Stranger things have happened, Tej.
It's true. It's true.
Say that.
I'd never be taking the free kick. That's the difference.
T has scored some blinders.
I don't go past the halfway line, man.
T just can score some blinders. He does some mad shots. He's got some power in his shots, but like when we do 6-7 aside, sometimes he has the audacity to shoot out of like halfway line or something. But sometimes like it goes in. He's like, "Fuck, how the hell do you score that, T?"
Yeah, but my main point of football for me is hold the centre line. Right?
Yeah, straight
up. The way we play football, everyone's gonna score a goal, right? So if you want to win the game, it's how many goals are you gonna concede, right?
100%.
Both teams are gonna score regardless. Whatever, 100%. We're never gonna have a 0-0 game. Like, I mean, we had a Monday night a couple of months back. I think it was in November, and it was 0-0. We've never. I think this was the first time. It was
must be competitive.
Mad competitive game, right? Balls are hitting the bars.
But you want that though. It
was a wicked game. But until 9 o'clock. I was looking at my watch, right, to change keeper around stuff, and at 9 o'clock it was still 0-0. We've never gone an hour without anyone scoring a goal.
Nah, fair. I love
no
them
offense, games. I was so buzzing that game, right? Because it was like, right, today the defenders are doing better than the strikers.
You love games like that. I love really tough games.
Went straight out the window 10 minutes later because it was like 8-2.
Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, can you imagine even just scoring 1 goal after that and the buzz and just going home for, I've just scored the only goal today, and it's fucking 6-7 aside. But do you know what? I love that. I mean, I've been in a game like that before one time as well. I think, like you said, the last 5 minutes, somehow there's about 6-7 goals winning. I think when the 1 or 2 goals go in, everyone just gives up. It's like, why don't have that mentality? Do you know what I mean? But
yeah, no, definitely. You can never give up, man. Never give up.
No, definitely. But
especially
I think,
on a 7-a-side pitch. Like, anything can happen, man. 5 minutes, you can score 10 goals.
As you're saying, it depends how it's like I said, it's when you step it up and you step up a gear. So look, I think Tejas, man, I hate you playing against Tejas though. Like, I remember this one time, right? No, but I remember, I think it was was it Monday? It might have been Monday. I can't remember. I think it was Roops that organised this. This is a while ago.
Yeah,
I remember Tejas like Vidic to the back, mate. I'm like, I said to myself, like, right, I tried taking him on, didn't work. I was like, I ain't gonna bother because I know this guy's on me. So as soon as I got the ball, if I was in front of him, I'm just passing the ball because I just know like this guy's fucking beast. So honestly, I'll admit hands down, mate. This guy, he's honestly, I mean, he's a compliment player.
Sure. I just want to touch on something quickly, right?
Go on.
We do it as India and Pakistan, right? So how it works, like obviously we want the best 11 Indians on the pitch. And it's not so much now, but say like when we first started Monday Night Football and Thursday Night Football, predominantly Monday night, it was more like the Indians, but they were like most likely Gujarati Hindus. And then the Thursday is more like Punjabi and Sikhs. But now it's mixed. Now we have, Hindus playing. And it's not really about the religion. It's just obviously we all know each other. We're all the same age, but that's how it kind of originated. That's how I started playing football on Thursday with all the Punjabi guys. We used to play in Free Bridges and stuff like that. But I want to know, like, even though we're all like together now as one, is it same as your team you put together, or is it just strictly like, those you don't know, like we live in Crawley, so Crawley's obviously split into loads of different states and stuff. But
states?
Have you, like,
bruv.
not like you
states, like, yo, who's the governor of Goss's Green, man? If you run for that job.
But you know what I'm trying to say. You got Goss's Green, Langley Green, Ifield, Three Bridges, Northgate.
Yeah, of course.
But like, is the majority of your players from Broadfield, or have some of them come from Langley Green, or from other places, or is just the kids that you grew up with? Or is it similar to what we have? Do you have a whole range of players that are playing on different days and stuff, and you're trying to just bring the best out of? I mean, is the winning more important, or the people you play with?
Do you know, that's a good question, because I was sort of picking, like I said, picking a team is is hard. Like, do you know when you decide on that starting 11, one of the games I done it a week before because I knew people had dropped out. Just, you know what I mean? But for me, doing deciding the team, I'll be honest, is the hardest, because again, you want your best players, but for me, it's not about that, though, because you can get. And listen, Aman, you know as well. I spoke to you about a few things as well, and there's a lot of good Pakistani players in Crawley. But be honest, did you see any of those? Listen, I told you about 6 of them at least. Did they play in that game? Any of the games? They haven't played, have they? Because for me, it's not about choosing your best. You can literally have like 11 absolute quality players, but are they going to gel? I don't think so. So for me, I like. That's
an interesting concept, yeah.
And the thing is, and at the same time, I like to choose. I like to sort of base it around my what do you call it? Base it around my like my friends and stuff.
Yeah.
But again, because I've grown up with these boys, and can you imagine like me picking, like my brother, but obviously. But let's just say there's another world class, I don't know, someone quality down the road. I'm going to pick my brother over him because I've grown up with him and I play football with him. Do you know what I mean? But I feel like when you got players like that, they obviously. Boys, bear with me 2 seconds. Bit of a disturbance.
No worries, man.
Shut the door, darling. Sorry, excuse me, boys.
No worries, man.
Jesus, man, can't follow one simple rule: is don't come in the room. Fucking hell, sorry, boys. Excuse me. Anyways, so I think for me is if you've got someone that's probably not as good as the other guy, they're probably there's a more chance them playing, their hearts out than the other guy who's very egoistic and think he's better than everyone, and he crumbles. And listen, we had that. I've already discussed that already. We've already had that. And he ain't played since. So for me, is I just base it around the people I've grown up with, and again, it's chemistry. Because like you said, you can't. I bet you boys. It was hard for you, like mixing the Gujaratis and the Sikhs together. I bet it was hard. I bet it must be well hard trying to.
There were some conversations that the chemistry. It's not Gujarati and Sikhs because we got obviously. Some Sikhs playing on a Monday, some Gujaratis playing on the Thursday. It's the chemistry, isn't it? The chemistry of the link-up play.
So we had the issue on the right side this year, right, where Winter was playing right back, and we had Sook playing as our right winger. Now Sook's played with us on Mondays recently, but if I played that combination in that first game that we played 4 years ago, it would never have worked because Winter and Sook had never played with each other.
No.
So Sook doesn't know how Winter runs it. So if someone's running out, so say yourself, Sherry, you're running with the ball at Winter, Sook doesn't know that Winter's not going to track you back and come back. He's going to go towards you to get that ball off you, right? So Sook doesn't need to track you out. He's got to track whoever's the defender running past.
Nah, of course.
Right? And that's this aspect of it. Now it's a lot better since the first game because we've got more of a mix. And I think this concept that you and Aman have put together is brilliant because But back 4 years ago, I think there was probably 2 people that played on Mondays and Thursdays, right? And that was actually 3 people, to be fair, because I forgot about Gudge as well. So Gudge, myself, and Aman were the 3 that played on a Monday night and on a Thursday night. But now, if you look at it, you've got Esh plays a load of Thursdays. Roops plays on Thursdays here and there. Priyesh will come in and fill in. Mez will come in and fill in. There's a whole different aspect of it, right? Where people start gelling with each other, and it's easier to make those connections. But when you're picking the team, as you said, it's like it's the ego side of it. You need to pick the right players for the right position. Like this year, we had our best player by far this year was Ricky. Right, even though we lost the game.
Wicked.
Which Ricky was this?
Ricky Patel.
Is he? He plays. Does he play centre back? I can't remember. Last time I saw him.
So he plays for us on a Monday. When we play Monday night, he's a striker. So we split him with Merv or Mitz or whoever else is a striker, right? Because he's good on the ball. He can control. He can hold it up.
Is it Ricky, Liverpool fan?
Yeah. Tall guy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So, he's good player. Very good player. Yeah.
But when it came to the 11-a-side game, like for me, I know I can pull Ricky back into defence and he'll do a job.
100%. Do it for the team, wouldn't he? He'll play for the team, wouldn't he?
Yeah, but he's got heart though. He's got real good heart, and he plays like with passion.
We didn't have a defensive midfielder or someone who's going to hold that position. We had Roops and Dudham who are very good at like hustling and busting. They're like Roops is like your Herrera. He runs around, he gets the ball, he plays the pass, and he keep going. Right? Can
I have a little comment there? Put a little comment in that. Basically, Roops, right? And do you know what? Right, again, looking at your team, is everyone talks about Mitz, everyone talks about Esh, everyone talks about Pritz, everyone talks about like you or Tejas, but no one mentions Roops. And Roops, for me,
a silent hero.
Behind Mitz, right? He's your second best player by far. You can't get the ball off him. And do you know what? He's strong as well. He's actually quite strong as well. Like, and that's not even his main attribute as well. Because, like you said, he's good at breaking up play. He's good at controlling the ball, passing about, simple stuff. But he's actually quite good at attacking as well. Like I see him up and down the pitch as well. And for me, he's just another guy that just gets on with the game. I know he plays with his art, but he just gets on with the game. He's another good player that a lot of people overlook, man.
And that's where this year Ricky was solid. And sent like a CDM role. He was from the start of the game all the way through, like putting his foot in, putting his neck out.
Yeah, he was amazing. He's really good player.
So if he wasn't there, we probably would have conceded at least another 4 goals.
Yeah, he's fantastic player. I like a player like Ricky because he's just gives you everything he's got.
He doesn't play that position. Warrior. He doesn't play that position week in, week out. But he did a job for the team.
Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah. So.
For me, I missed that game, so I didn't know. I didn't see much, but I heard it was like I heard you guys. I mean, first off, your quality. I mean, obviously I saw a lot of people. I think who was it? I think my brother was talking about it, and I think you went up 5-4-2 up or something, or 4-3 up.
Yeah, so we were 4-3.
We were 3-0 down, man.
Yeah, we were 3-0 down.
Yeah, but the thing is, but that come early on. But apparently, after half time was 5-3, wasn't it?
It was 4-3. 4-3 up.
We were 5-3, weren't we?
I thought it was 5-3. Someone said 5-3 to me, but I don't know.
We're leading by 2 goals,
but then you just smashed us. Then you just got another 5 goals. I think after the 6-goal winning, we just lost momentum. Like no one wanted to be on the pitch.
I think the reason what happened was I remember people wanted to play, and like you were saying about being honest on the pitch and just all trying to get one over and stuff like that, right? You guys won a penalty because Winter slid in, but Winter clearly got the ball. I'm standing next to him. I saw him get the ball.
Yeah, of course.
And he even said it, but from behind, it didn't. From the referee's view, it didn't look like that.
Yeah, right? Of course. Yeah.
So if I was Famo, I would have given the penalty as well. But at that point, it's up to the striker to come and say, "No, you know what? He did get the ball. Like it's not a penalty." But the striker, don't even know who the guy's name is, right? But he didn't. He just said, "Yeah, it's a penalty." He just walked away. So the penalty was given. At that point, your head kind of drops.
It's demotivating, isn't it?
Yeah, and if you've got the two loudest on the pitch, like myself and Winter, if our head drops, then everyone else has that. I mean, I'm not saying because we're the most important players, but it's like if your loudest players stop shouting at you, you think you're getting away with it, so you can just like, oh, do you know what?
Yeah, I
They're
think
not
you're
telling me
right,
off.
TJ. I think we lost
They're
momentum
not
that
shouting
game.
at us, so I can do what I want and get away with it. And I think that's
Yeah.
what it was. The last 20 minutes, we just lost all of the.
Yeah, we lost our
just
team
wanna-
spirit,
yeah.
man. We look
Just want to add
deflated.
something there. Yeah, I just want to add something there. Winner is Indian, just for if everyone's watching. He's Indian.
He's an honorary Indian, yeah.
He's Indian. You can't get any more Indian than him.
Yeah, man.
Do you know what I mean? It was funny because I was chatting to. I remember when I was speaking to Aman about, obviously, look, it's not. Again, I'd love it if we added other races and that in there, but at the same time, if it's Pakistanis and Indians, like you got to have Pakistani Indians playing. It's simple, but when he basically went, I was like, look, to be fair, the geezer's. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, he's married to an Indian, isn't he?
Yeah,
You just can't you can't even just argue that now, innit? You know what I mean? You just can't argue that. So in my head, I just thought, you know what, like, because everyone, look, a few people did mention it even before. Like, I'll be straight with you, like, especially in the first game. I said, look, the geezers played with them from day dot. I played with them as well. Winter's always there. So I think we just sort of let it go, really. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, no, Winter's another good player as well. He's quite a powerhouse, isn't he?
Oh, he's solid. He
is
solid,
man.
I have no. The only bad thing I say about Winter when he plays is if he gets carried away, you need someone there to just pull him back. But other than that, mate, that guy, he'll play football with a broken leg.
Yeah, you could tell.
Yeah, you would, man.
You could snap his spine and he'll still be on that pitch.
Yeah.
And the worst thing is, he'll go home, right, and then he'll play again the next day, even though he knows that he's messed
crazy.
up and he shouldn't be playing. He's just a complete like.
Do you know what's funny, guys? Right?
It.
Again, I don't want to keep bringing up the goal again. Yeah, it's probably lost. Well, I don't know if I may bring it up again. But Sarks' goal, right? If you look at the video, right, as soon as that goal went in, do you know whose reaction cracked me up was Winters. As soon as that goal went in, Winters just turned around and started clapping straight away.
Yeah.
Like, it just cracked me up. Like, I meant to that's class, man. Because he knew, look. It was
but you have to, right? You have to. I mean, that strike, the goal, as a defender, if you want a goal to go in against you, you need something like that. Something that you can do nothing about.
I just don't think anyone's saving that. Like, the way it just went so clean top bins, isn't it? It's ridiculous.
It was right in. It was in that little hoop that you used to hold the fucking net up.
It's ridiculous.
You give me the ball 1,000 times, I'm getting into that hoop once, and that's if I go up to it and put it through my hand.
What makes it even better goal is that when he takes it, you can see the spin on the ball as well. So you can actually see the ball actually kind of curve round into that sort of net.
Yeah, that's because Aman buys all these fucking colourful balls every year, man. Like, you could just buy just a plain white one.
He loves it.
So it just makes the ball look, just going in a straight line. But,
Aman, I've got a question for you. Obviously, in that game, like, so Aman's obviously quite, he's quite relaxed. Like, you are quite relaxed in the, especially all the games. I've not really seen you actually, lose your shit. But in that game, the 5-4 one, I feel like you're quite angry. Like, even just, in the game, like, I feel like, what happened there then? What made you?
I can't remember. Was I angry?
I think it was in the second half. I remember you.
Second half, you were.
Oh yes, what's his name? What's his name? I don't mind saying it. What's his name, man?
Is that a defender?
Yeah, one of your players. He had a beard.
Hakan, yeah.
Was it Hakan?
Hakan,
yeah. I just remember that. Yeah, I mean, I'm quite relaxed. I mean, I used to be quite an aggressive player, which, like I said, I have no issues of being like, and I want people to be a bit like that. I like a bit of competition. But yeah, I remember when I think I scored a goal. And I was running, and I think I was running straight towards the goal, and I scored a goal. But I just hear something slide really violently behind me, and I thought if that connects with me, either my ankle's gone or something's gone. And I just had a little glimmer back, and it was that guy. But I just ignored it. I scored a goal, so I was more happy scoring a goal. But then it was just during the game. I just remember I felt little nigs here and there, like when the ball's in the air. We'll jump for it. I just felt like a little dig in the ribs, a little dig here and there. It wasn't something major, but I think, my adrenaline's going. I'm pumped. I'm running hard. Testosterone's probably super high. We had a clash, and I'm just like, I really wanted to just have a go at this guy, man. I won a free kick. I think he got sent off that game as well for like 10 minutes, didn't he? So.
He got sin binned.
He got sent off that game. But there was 2 or 3 tackles that went in. But you know what? 2 or 3 of them, I could have gone to the ref and say, "Ref, listen, this guy is fucking pissing me off." But I kept it quiet because I thought, you know what? I want a little battle, man. Let's have a little battle.
Definitely.
But I just thought he may have overstepped the mark. But I was at that mindset where I just didn't want to back down. You know, I don't want to back down. And
I've never seen you like that. That's the first time I've seen you actually sort of. Again, I don't think you lost your head because you still play well after. But I feel like
I've seen him lose his head.
I feel like
Friday
he's
night.
a lot more aggressive. Because I remember me and him. I remember I had the ball, and someone passed me. It was like a through ball type of thing, and I was running onto it, and I see like Aman sort of running with me. It was like a proper 100-meter sprint. So it was actually right fight. It was quite a good choice. But like I remember, I can feel like you was angry. Do you know what I mean? But it was,
I mean, when I was like, I don't know what it is. It may be just an ego thing, right? I think it has to be an ego thing because, you know, I was about 3-4 years ago. You could probably ask T. I was 10 kilos heavy. I was big. I was heavy into bodybuilding.
Yeah.
I wanted to get massive, strong, but I wanted to showcase my strength on the pitch, and it's just trying to be. It's an ego thing. There's nothing more to it. Like, but you don't know till your egos get hurt and to you being exposed to just stay humble and stuff. And but you know, but I used to score goals and just want to hit the post for no reason. And I think, you know, I learned to calm myself down in that sense. And I think it's even boxing, bro. I mean, I used to do boxing. We used to box ABC 3 bridges, and when I won like 3-4 fights. But once I got hit hard, I think it was that Italian guy, Giuseppe. Giuseppe, yeah. He hit me, but the thing is, it wasn't a knockout punch. It was more of a slap. But I remember the air went into my burst my eardrum. Basically, I just heard like a ringing sound in my ear, and I stopped the fight, but it wasn't because I was knocked out or nothing. I just thought, what the fuck happened here? And he carried on punching, and I'm just like, hold on, something ain't right here. I can't really hear anything from my left ear. And but even something like that, you just sit back and think, you know what? Drop the ego, stay humble, you know, just play with it. But I think any guy who gets pushed to the limit, man, you can try to test them, but I think sometimes you just got to give a little bit back. But I like definitely. That. Like I said before, I like a bit of aggression. I mean, why not? You know,
definitely. It makes it exciting, doesn't it? I think even a ref, because I was chatting to the ref after, and even I think he had a little comments. All you guys made, that was a hard lie. It was a good game for him to watch, even like to ref, but just to watch because it was literally non-stop, back and forth. But that game, I'll be honest, I was because you actually had more chances in that game.
Yeah.
But again, the other way around, we was more clinical. I feel like we put our chances away. I feel like in that game, if it was in the first half, you did have a few chances, but just one of those things. It's like I said, it's all happens on a day, doesn't it? It doesn't matter. You can literally bang in as many goals you can in 6 7-side games. But when
what do you think the future holds now for the India and Pakistan? Obviously, we want to keep it going, but I just want to go a little bit off topic here right now. I just want to say, like, okay, we're doing this thing. It's an annual thing. Hopefully, we can do it twice a year and give back to charity. And it's great that we, you know, this year we've done over £500 to charity, which is brilliant. I think a time like this in the pandemic, you know, homeless people will definitely need that money for good use, and we want to grow that and start donating more and more. But I think every year progressively we have gone better and organising, like in the ref. You know, this time we had the mayor, Crawley, hand over the trophy, and you know, family were there handing out some fruits and drinks and stuff like that. So we want to make sure it gets bigger and bigger.
Well, that's the thing, though, isn't it? You just literally said it all there, like with the you know, with the mayor not being there. Can you imagine, like, the mayor being, obviously he was there in the last game, so now the second game, who's going to be there the second game? Would it be like, probably have more of an audience next time, do you know what I mean? Maybe just coming down and putting a bit of money in the bucket or something, just so we can, you know, try and
I think this time we had quite a few numbers there just watching us, which we never had. And I think we should do, because it's like people like Tej deserves that, and people like Big Aman deserves that, and who's organising it now. And, you know, boys constantly every week have to organise, you know, 7-a-side, 8-a-side game. It's tough. Someone falls out, Tej probably knows he has to get it back in. He's sending out messages and, you know, getting ready with the kit bag. And, you know, we should have something set up where these guys are acknowledged and we put it in an 11-a-side game, even if it's India, Pakistan, even if it's not. I think the natural progression now is when are we going to start seeing a British-born, Indian or Pakistani, playing in the highest rank? I know Mitz was playing for Crawley at one point, but do you reckon in the future we're going to see someone actually playing in the Premier League? And you reckon that things that we're doing right now will inspire a young kid to actually make it on that top level rank?
Do you know what it is? I feel like
it'll be the generation after us. It'll be our kids' generation.
That's what I think. I feel like there's a lot of opinions on this one, because I feel like we know people that are very good at football, but they've got degrees in they've gone to university, got a degree and this and that. I feel like they've put education first, and I feel like that's more down to their parents obviously want them to do this and that. And it's like same with all other sports. I just feel like it's especially the Asians. I feel like it's just more about education rather than doing something as a sport.
But why is that though? Why are we so if your kid's got a talent, why are we so you need a degree, you need education? Why are you not pushing them to do more sports?
You look at where your parents come from, right? So say 90 or say 80% to 90% of our parents, our generation's parents that came over in the 70s, the 80s, early 90s, or whenever they came over, even if they came in the 60s, right? They came here with nothing, and they work constantly, and they do labor jobs, right? So working at Royal Mail, they buy a shop, or they're cab driver, or they're working ridiculous hours to give their kids a living. But they get my dad sits downstairs and watches cricket all the time, right? He'll watch reruns of the IPL because it's not on at the moment. But he would never have had that inkling of when I was born, I want my son to be a cricketer. For him, it's I want my son to be comfortable, and I want him to have a job. And when they came here, they're looking at all the people. So in the 80s and the 90s, when the boom was happening, everyone's having loads of money. Who are the guys with the money at that time? The guy in a suit working in an office, the trader, the doctors, the lawyers. They're the people with the money. So it's just that thing in our parents' minds. They don't want their sons and their daughters to have to work 12, 16-hour days doing a labor job to just make ends meet, right? And have to worry about, how are we going to pay the mortgage, or how are we going to pay this bill? Or, my son's birthday's coming up. How am I going to buy him the birthday present? He wants a PS5. PS5 is going to be 600 quid. How am I going to afford £600 outlay just all of a sudden, right? It's that mentality which we have changed because they've given us the platform to change that for our kids, right? So when it comes to us all having kids and whatever else, I mean, some of our boys already have kids, and you see, Britain has his little ones. They go to football every Sunday. Tanvir trains the kids at the Gurdwara. And Tanvir played football. Tanvir organised Monday Night Football for a few years, right? And he's played with us for years. So it's that mentality that changes with us, because we will push our kids to do what they're interested
whatever
in.
they want. Yeah, exactly.
Right? Because we can provide for them in that aspect of their life. Our parents and I'm not talking across the board. I'm just saying the general population. People, the general population, our parents weren't able to give us that openness in terms of, do you know what, Tejas, you want to go play cricket, you want to go play football, here, I'm going to push you to do that. Their mentality was, all right, do you know what, I need you to go to university, get a job working for, I don't know, the biggest company in the world, making money, and you're not going to be waking up and putting on, I don't know, work clothes to go and deliver post or do whatever, right? Or you're not opening the shop to make money type thing. You're not doing a labor job. Yeah, but they want that for me, that's where I feel is what's hindered our generation. But I'd say hinder's not the right word in that sense. I'd say it's given us the platform to be who we are, and now it will give our kids or the next generation a platform to follow their dreams and not just
do something they enjoy.
They enjoy.
I totally agree with that,
right?
Tejas,
But not enjoy.
Because you know what, it's mad, because when I've been in this situation with and it's always, like you said, it's old school people. It's our dads, it's our uncles, it's our granddads or whatever. I feel like there was one time I was in a situation myself. Me and one of my cousins was talking to. Again, I don't want to bait anyone out because in case you see it, but one of them asked me.
You paid a lot of people out here, Sher.
You're lucky.
Sher baits out everyone. And just tag him on underneath.
The reason he's dropping names is because everyone's on lockdown. He's like, no one can come at me, bruv. You're staying at home, mate. I'll call the police. Exactly. That's like, $150 per head if you leave your house, mate.
No, like it.
Shit, big South Crawley.
But to be fair, these guys aren't even in Crawley. But again, what it is so you asked me the question. I was, Sher, what do you do for a living? I said I work in the. Obviously, this time I was working in the gym. So yeah, I work in the gym with that. I've got like, I want to, have my own gym one day. This and that. And he asked, like, he didn't seem interested. I was like, okay, fair enough. But when you asked my cousin about saying I said, what do you do? And he goes, oh yeah, I'm a solicitor in this place, blah, blah, blah. Fuck me, he had about a 40-minute conversation with him. Mine didn't last a minute. So can you see the difference though? Like he got
the demotivation for yourself that you get, right?
Yeah.
It says that.
That's quite a big thing though, because that's just kind of showing that you're not really purposeful on what you're doing.
Exactly. But the thing is, like I love what I do.
Yeah.
And there's the other person like what he's doing. Who knows? Do you know what I mean? Who knows? And that's the thing. Like certain things get overlooked. Like if you sit there and say, "Yeah, I want to be a footballer," nah, shut up. You're gonna be a doctor when you're old or this and that. Like, that's what you get. Back in our times, that's what we're getting. Do you know what I mean? And
that's the thing.
definitely.
Like when you go like places where, like, if I go south or it's such a people are just
why are you going to mention areas, driven. Bro? You're about to bring a whole war down on Crawley. You're going to mention
No, but it's not even like that, bro. It's like you go around these places, you see these houses, yeah, and everyone's got like a Mercedes. Like it's just like it's like a Punjabi thing there. It's like they don't even have amazing houses. It's just a perception, like, oh, they got a Mercedes. I think they have loads of events there, loads of weddings. They have to pull off in their Merc, and I just don't understand the whole logic. Even at weddings, why people have to go to extent to give so much.
It's a human attribute, right? You. It's an ego thing. You said it earlier when we're playing football, right? Why do I go on the football pitch and start shouting and kicking off and like telling people what to do, right? I'm still boasting my own ego regardless, right? Like regardless of whether I'm right or wrong, I'm still trying to show people that I know what I'm talking about type thing. So when like I bought my first car, I bought an A4. I didn't need an A4. Like, well, I could have got around in an Astra. There's no reason for me to get that A4 at all and waste 10,000 more pounds on that car when I could have bought an Astra for £10,000 less, right?
So you should watch that ego thing. You should watch that documentary on Netflix. It's called Minimalism or something. It's just like it had me going for like a month. It's called minimalism. Like these people, they're basically like they don't basically. They withdraw all their materialized things like their watches, their cars, and everything, and they just live like very basic. But they live really happy and content lives and stuff. I tried it for a week; it didn't work. But
good on them, bro. But like to be honest,
I tried shopping in Audi, but I was like, nah, I need my M&S foods, bro. You know what I mean? If it's food, it has to be quality.
There ain't nothing wrong with Audi, bro. I shop there.
No, I like Audi, but
I ain't waiting for
Snickers
no
is not the real Snickers bar. Yeah.
Trying to get into Sainsbury's these days takes too long, bro.
Nah, but what I want to say is like when our like Indians, Pakistanis, we're like the first generation. I want to see more people in sports, not just football. I know cricket's a massive passionate thing, and it's great because it's fitness related. But and Sher, you're doing boxing, which is fantastic. I mean, you had so many amateur fights, and it's great to see you getting involved.
Thank you, man.
And we're doing football. I do football, cricket. I love boxing. I love bodybuilding and stuff like that. I love keeping fit in general. But I want the Asian community in general to start realizing, like,
it's more to life than just education, isn't it?
Yeah, and you see all these Asians, and I see them. They work so hard, and how many people have got diabetes or, their obesity levels, they got, high 100%. Blood pressure. And because 100%. They're doing those labour jobs that Tejas was saying, that they're doing the taxi runs, they open the shops, they're working these excessive hours. But they forgot about their health. And now they're taking all these pills to, like, trying to change that and just make them feel better or whatever it is. But it's still...
It's probably making them worse. It looks like it seems to make worse.
And I like seeing your stuff, Sher, because you got your personal training page on Instagram and you're showing a lot of fitness in there, people in there doing the pads and running and fitness. And I think we need to start promoting that side. Like, Asians can do sports. Asians can be amazing at sports, except for cricket. You know, like we can do, we can do other things. You know, like it's like I think there's only one. I think Amir Khan was the only boxer there. After there's no other Indians, Pakistani boxers that's on the mainstream. But I would love to see a professional Premier League footballer in a like team like Man United, and I'll be happy for that. I'm like, wow, like it's good to see someone on that sort of level.
It's a work in progress, right? It's a cultural change in our cultures. That's the difference. And changing culture is very, very difficult, right? Imagine, just think about how hard it took for me and you, Aman, being loose cannons on a football pitch. It took us 5 years just to change that.
Yeah, true.
Right? Like, and things like that. And trying to change our culture will only happen when we have or our generation starts having kids.
No, of course.
Right? Because we're the ones that's going to be instilled, like teaching them the culture. So keeping the culture of the religious aspect of stuff and the morals and all of that stuff there, but also change the culture slightly, saying, I get you do have to have education, do your GCSEs, your A levels, and if you can go and get a degree or do whatever you want, by all means, but don't squash your dreams of becoming a footballer. Don't think that you can't go and become the next I don't know, Roger Federer or the next best golf player in the world, right?
That'd be amazing. Imagine we had like someone from like,
Boys, excuse me 1 minute. Sorry.
No, go on, bro.
Imagine we had someone like playing sports like tennis on the mainstream.
Yeah, but that's what it is, right? Like, and the good thing is nowadays there's a lot of, and I've got a load of friends who play tennis for fun, and that's what it comes down to, right? We have our parents in their teens. My dad loves cricket, right? He wanted to play cricket. I know he wanted to play cricket, but when he came to the country in the 80s, he was straight away work, right? The point of him coming here, it was he got into the country in December, he got a job in January, and he was working 7 days a week. Right? He got the chance to play cricket on a Sunday, but his main goal for life was to provide for the family. Right? Great.
And that's important though, Tej, because it shows how grateful we are for our parents. Like how much they had to sacrifice just so we can live a normal life.
Exactly.
In England and where we're born. And it's like another thing though. Like even though we're British Asians, like you say, we're not really. Like the Asian part is we're more British, aren't we? If you look at it in retrospect,
100%.
Like if I go back to India, I can't drink the water there. I'm more of a tourist. I love Punjab.
I mean, I wouldn't recommend drinking the water there. Yeah, but that's that's a whole different conversation.
No, but like
sorry, Sher, go on.
Yeah, my grandmother, she came from India. Like she migrated from Punjab here, but like I'm born here. But like if I went back to India, I love India. It's amazing. I feel deep connections my ancestors are from. But I went to a school here. I was singing hymns and stuff, assemblies. You get excited for Christmas because everyone else is, as well as the religious aspect of it. But whether you're religious or not, it's just obviously a holiday and everything. But you are more British than you are Indian or Pakistani. That's what I think anyway, unless you're from Bradford.
Oh, why are you gonna drop that? Why?
No. It's funny. First he tried baiting out people in Crawley, then it was Southall. Now it's
and then this guy just.
After you as well, mate.
Can I just put a disclaimer? All views on this recording podcast is of their individual beliefs.
I'll put a disclaimer up.
There's no disclaimer. Whatever Aman says, he's saying it for himself. Whatever I'm saying for me. Sherry for him. I want no hype with no one, yeah?
All right. Find us at Tiger Turf every Monday, 8 p.m.
I'm locking that gate, bro.
This is brilliant. But listen, you got like I said,
what about you, Sher? Quickly, I'll ask you a question. Do you feel more Pakistani or more English?
Well, that's the thing. Like you were saying about doing more things, in England and then in India. But I class myself as a British Pakistani. Yeah, 100%. Like I follow the law and everything, and I do everything properly. Do you know what I mean? I don't just, I've got a routine, shall I say? Do you know what I mean? And I don't just take sort of things, as they come. And I think when you go because obviously I've been in Pakistan where everything there for me just seems all over the place. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I ain't got a plan. I ain't got a plan to do anything. So I feel like when they live out there, they just sort of just take every day that comes. Do you understand what I mean? So I feel like going out there, like you said about drinking their water and the foods and stuff, like I can't adjust to that lifestyle. So I'm guessing I'm probably more British than Pakistani, I guess.
Well, yeah, if you're born here and you're naturally going to feel more like that. But it is it can be like, for me, it's okay. Like I feel like, this is home for me. But I do feel like there are some Indians and Pakistanis that I still can't figure out who they are yet. Like they don't know, like they're accepted in society. Maybe they face some racism in the past.
Do you know what I think as well? That's again down to the upbringing. Because I just feel like, it could be their mums and dads, it could be in their family, just making them live a certain way. Like you got to understand is we don't live in the 70s no more. We're in the 20th century now. Do you know what I mean?
21st century.
21st. I was trying to say 2020, but that's 20th century. You get it? So, do you understand what I mean? Though? Like,
yeah, no, we get what you mean, man. Like, no, it's cool. No, we get what you mean. Is it?
Like, we are in. Do you know what I mean? We are in. We're in 2020, man. Like, you're not gonna. I'm not gonna. We don't watch TV in black and white now, do we? Do you know what I mean? So.
Well, some of us may do, but.
For fuck's sake. But no, I know
what you mean.
I just think it's all down to the upbringing, though, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's just more about the upbringing and how.
You're saying upbringing. It's not. It's. I would say I agree with what you're saying. Don't get me wrong. However, with that side of the upbringing, it's who did you surround yourself with when you went to school?
Ah, right. Yeah,
right?
That's
who have you grown up with in terms of like? So I mean, we all grew up together, right? Like we may have gone to different schools, but I've known you since we were like, what, 12, 13 years old. Sherry, I've known you since both of us were well in our teens, right? And surrounding yourself with people at the time, and whether you got along with those people or you didn't at the time, and you look at them now, and we're having this. Did you ever think back in 2002, I was 11 years old, there was no way I was thinking I'm going to have a conference call with Aman and Sherry and we're talking about football, right?
Yeah, Pakistan.
Do you get what I mean? And that's what it comes down to. And if people have, unfortunately, mixed with the wrong crowd or mixed with people that don't necessarily help them bring the best out in themselves, then that's going to impact you in the future. And
exactly,
that's a really big thing, especially in this country, because you don't, in places like India and Pakistan or a lot of other third world countries or anywhere else, right? The culture's different. So you spend more time with your family. But here you spend more time with your friends. You spend time at school. You spend time at work. I talk to my work colleagues more than I talk to my mum and dad. 100%.
That's mad. Yeah,
I spend more time at work than I do at home. Right? But if I'm surrounded at work with people who are very negative and who don't have the right idea about life or anything, then that's gonna change the way I act over a period of time, and that's what it is. And when you're developing as a kid, you need those right people around you.
Have you ever experienced any racism in your life, Tejas?
Yeah, I have, but not to the extent that a lot of other people have. Because I went to Bubish First School, Bubish Middle School, Goss's Green School, Holy Trinity. I was surrounded by Indians, Pakistanis, Asians, right? So it's very difficult. Like I was subjected to racism, but when I was a kid, but unfortunately, it was at the time. It was the 90s. It wasn't as bad as it was before or back in the day when our parents came here, but it was still there. And even now, I randomly I've had a comment thrown here or there. I remember when I was parking the car at Asda a couple of years ago, a lady said something, and yeah, cool.
What'd she say?
She called me the P word, right? She dropped the P word, which if you want to say that, you say that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not really that bothered. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Happy days. I'm just going to go get my milk, get my cheese, go home and make some mac and cheese, bruv. Happy days, bruv. Enjoy your life, innit? Because what are you going to do? That's it.
You probably wound her up more, even just by doing that. So really, you being the better person, just walking away, probably wound her up more. So really, you kind of won that.
Yeah, and that's what we do now as grown adults. But if someone called me or called yourself, Sherry, the P word, right?
Yeah.
When you were
100%.
12, 13 years old, nah, you'd be ready to throw arms.
Yeah, trust me.
Sher, do you get any racism? Have you experienced any racism, or even in the boxing? Like, as they've gone, you know, do you control your aggression, and as people said names to you while you're fighting, or how did it work out
I
with
feel
you?
like I'll be honest, right? I haven't really got apart from one time. This was quite a few years ago. Just someone shouted, "Knock that the P word and the C and T out." So basically trying to say knock me out with those two words in it. So in my head I was just like, man, come on, like what's the point? It made me laugh because I think to myself like, wow, does racism still actually exist? Because come on, man, like you said, we've all listen. This country, right? There's a lot of different cultures here now, and it just grows and grows. And again, I'm not saying, not saying it's in any particular culture is going to take over, but you just got to accept it now. Do you know? You just got to accept everyone's. We're all humans, man. We all bleed. Listen, we all. If you cut each other, we all bleed the same. Do you know what I mean? Doesn't matter what color we are, in that man. We're all human beings. So, yeah, there's one time I did. I did. That was probably the only time then. And at the football match, when again he wasn't he wasn't racist. Like
It's just
he
a
wasn't racist
racist
but
comment.
he said it.
Just a racist
and I
comment.
didn't like it. Like, for me personally, it's like, let's just say, there were kids around that day as well. And obviously I had my nephew there that day and he heard it. And I tried to know saying something else. He said Pakistani. And the thing is, what made me laugh is like the whole thing, like, come on, mate. I was like, just because we're Asians doesn't mean you can still use that word. Like, if I turn around and say something, called you something, would you like it? And he didn't have nothing to say. So that's what, for me, that's the only, I haven't really had any racist abuse, like, thankfully. Do you know what I mean? Touch wood, I haven't, no. I mean, if anything, right, I've probably had more, and I'm not sure if you boys, I mean, like, you use what I mean, like, I feel like I've had more not race abuse, but I feel like I've had more kind of like, I've been told that I'm not Pakistani because of the way I am. So for me, I take that as racism. I know it's probably not race, but I take that as racism.
Saying, yeah.
I feel like I've had that a lot. I probably have more problems with the Pakistani culture than white, if I'm really honest.
That's quite interesting to hear that, man. For me, it was a bit different because I was born in Furness Green, so I never knew any Asians existed in Crawley.
Yeah.
But I went to like Robert May First School and Bishop Bell. So like,
sounds so posh, man. I love it.
No, it's Furness
Schools
Green.
this? I've never even heard of these schools, man.
No, the school don't even exist anymore. They put like new builds there now.
Okay.
It was Robert May First School, and I was the only Asian guy there, apart from another girl. Her name was Rita Shankar. And
more people.
No, but she was like, we were like the only Indians there, and she was like, but my parents wasn't as strict as being like, like she came with the girl on her head, and like she, I guess she was a bit more outcast than me.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
But growing up, and then I kind of never saw it as racism. Like, I had my girlfriends or like English, and my friends were all English. They were all my first ever friends were all English. And it was only until I was in year 4 or 5, this young girl, we were queuing up to go assembly, and I remember very clearly, she came up to me, he's like, why is he going? Like, he's different and stuff like that. Like, he pointed at me. She was only young, same age as me. And then I actually shocked. I was like, shit, like, you know what? I'm not white, like, what's going on? But, luckily enough, I had a really good teacher. I've got a name, Amanda White. She goes, no, he's born here, he's English, just like you. Stop saying that. And she set us straight away. And
yeah, definitely.
I feel like there's good people like that in the world that, makes you feel
you gotta love it, yeah.
Not secluded. But there were obviously racism happening, and it wasn't a posh school. I'll tell you the least, it wasn't not a posh school at all. There was some...
It's in Crawley, bruv. No offense. But...
Yeah, I know, man. Come on. But
don't try it, don't try it. None of us went to posh schools.
You know what I mean? It was only like when I went to like Hazelwick. But I used to go to the boys' club because I used to do Bhangra. I just bait myself out there. But, and then I was getting older. When I was like 10, 11, and then when I went to Hazelwick, I saw like a whole new crowd of Asians. That was the first time, like, like Ravdeep and Gurjeet were my first like friends. in Hazelwick because they were in the same form as me and stuff. And that's when my eyes opened, thinking, wow, like there's another side to Crawley, you know, which was Broadfield, Langley Green, and all them boys that I've never knew about. You know, I was so like Furnace Green, Three Bridges, and I opened my eyes a lot. And I like just like you, I got called like coconut a lot, and because I never. Thing is, I remember my mate invited me to his house for the first time, and I was like, "Oh, what's your dad's name?" And he said his name, and I called his dad by his first name. And next day I went to school, he had a go at me. He's like, "You're disrespectful, mate." I'm like, oh, "Disrespectful?" But yeah, you're rude. Yeah. I invited you around my house, and he's saying my dad's first name. I was like, "What am I supposed to say?" He's supposed to call him Uncle G. And I'm thinking, right, okay. Sorry, man, I didn't know because all my white friends.
That's a cultural thing, right?
Yeah, all my white friends were just like. You know, I always call their mums by their first name or their dad's. But, you know, my parents didn't put anything to me like that. But I realized then, like, okay, I have to be a bit more cautious of calling him uncle and auntie and all that sort of stuff. Like, and I got into a bit of a scrap with him there and then. So, you know, I think growing up I always kind of felt like an outcast.
Yeah, trust me.
But then I felt like, I don't know, the older I become, the more I want to know about my Indian heritage. I don't know why. More I want to embrace it a bit more and get to know it a bit more, and I think that's why we did these games in India, Pakistan, just to because you learn, you know a bit more about the actual where you're from and everything, you know, which is quite fascinating.
But this another thing as well is like again, I'll say it how it is, like for myself, like I am who I am, and if you look at the people that are around me, they accept me for who I am. I feel like it's, you know, when I'm going back to where I said, you know, about me having a lot of when I say racist abuse, where I've had probably more with like Pakistanis. I just feel like they don't accept the fact that I don't want to be anyone. I'm just who I am. Do you understand what I mean? And I just feel like I make my own decisions. I live how I live, and you know what? I'm not perfect, but I've never once said I've never once gone around saying I'm proper, I'm this and that. End of the day, I just do what I do, and that's it. And I feel like,
what do you reckon is the main difference of, like, for instance, if you have to single out one difference between an Indian and a Pakistani, what do you reckon? What would your opinion would be on that?
I don't know. You guys have probably got better jobs. Probably. I don't know. Probably, I don't know. Nah,
no, man, I would switch my job with yours any fucking day, bro. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I would happily work in a gym. Then work
do you know what? I think,
for an investment bank.
I hope your manager is not watching this.
No, man. Even he'd do the same thing, bruv.
Do you know what? I don't actually know, because the thing is, do you know where especially in secondary school, I had a lot of like especially my year, I had a lot of like English people, so I'm still friends with some of them till this day. But it's funny because when I started going like college and stuff, that's when I started, I wouldn't say involve myself with the Asian crowd, but I started I knew people and this and that. It was quite funny because there's certain things like I didn't know what Bangla music was until I was 18. Do you know what I mean? I didn't know what Bangla was. What the fuck's Bangla? Do you know what I mean?
Oh man, you're gonna love it for the rest of your life now.
No, but I do know, but I don't mind it. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't mind it. And again, like I got more and more interested as I was sort of getting older. Like, I mean, again, I haven't been Pakistan for a long time, but I would love to go and see it, because I do like, you know what I mean? Because it is, end of the day, it's still part of my heritage. You know what I mean? I am Pakistani still, so I do want to like go out there and I'm interested. You know what I mean? But I just feel like, I feel like I kind of learned a lot of things quite late. And I think that's probably why I probably got abused as well, you know, at the same time, because it's just one of those things, man. I didn't actually take anything to heart. I just felt like what I was doing was normal. Like, don't get me wrong, I didn't call next man like his name, and I didn't do that. But like, obviously, sorry, Aman.
It's all right, man. Don't worry.
But like, the thing is,
I'm a bait guy. I know it.
But the things you see, like, you know, like my mum and dad were like, you know, you got to call your uncle, uncle and this and that. And like, my mum and dad have told me that. And just out of respect, I'll call, if I do see, like one of my friends that, like, for instance, one of my best friends at Adnan, if I see his dad, I'll be like, Uncle, how you doing? You right? I won't say his name. Just out of respect, do you know what I mean? I just bait someone else out there, didn't I? fucking hell. Sorry, excuse me.
Adnan.
Anyway,
But don't worry, I'm sure there's plenty of Adnans and Crawleys.
yeah,
As well as that.
there weren't, no, but like, the
There's
thing
only
is,
one. There's only one that's Sherry's best friend, though, isn't it?
He's dead. I love it. No, but like the thing is I've I call them uncle, and then I think like even like like my missus, obviously she's English, and like obviously I've called like obviously she lives with her granddad as well, and out of respect I call him granddad because I don't feel like I can call him. I feel awkward if I say his name. It's just how I've been brought up. Do you know what I mean? So you're saying obviously you had that. You were saying something today, but I've had it the complete opposite. Do you understand what I mean? So. It's mad. It's mad.
It's crazy.
It's mad, isn't it? So, I just think, man, just everyone's different, isn't it, I guess?
Yeah, I've got some English people who are older now that I call uncle as well and granddad. Just out of respect, like old work people. I don't know. It just sounds more nicer, I guess. When
just respect it. I just feel like for me, I just be disrespectful. And I remember one time I called my uncle. He's like, "Shut up, mate. Just call me. Just say my name." I was like, "Oh, cool, fair enough." You know what I mean? But it's just one of them things. Like, it's just how.
Nah, that's cool, man. I'm gonna wrap this up real quick, but I just want to say, like, quickly before we go, how everyone's coping through COVID-19, and there's no football, no boxing, no sports really. How everyone's kind of surviving out there. Is anyone's doing anything different to keep fit?
I put a basketball ring up in the garden.
Yeah.
Love it.
I go for a run every day. I mean, when it first kicked off, I was doing home workouts and stuff like that. But yeah, they've stopped. It just wasn't working for me. Like personally, I'm not getting any. I mean, my body was obviously getting some sort of benefit from it, but like mentally, I wasn't. I need to work out in a gym, type of thing. So. To be fair, the last
environment
week,
for you then, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, but over the last week, I've actually started kicking the ball around in the garden. Just 20 minutes, just going, especially with the weather getting better, just going to the garden, kick the ball around, annoy my mum because I'm knocking over plant pots and stuff again. Bloody 15.
Brilliant.
But yeah, I mean, in general, it's just the same old, right?
There's only so much you can do, really, innit? I mean, obviously, I've just been running flat out. I know it's obviously because I don't. Even just as a boxer, running is obviously important, but I don't actually do much running if I'm getting ready for a fight and stuff. I only run about 2 or maybe 3 times a week, but I've literally been running every day, and I've been running long distance as well. So it's just one of them things that I'm like, right, today I've done 40 miles. In a couple of days I want to do 16.
14
do you know
miles?
what I mean? Yeah, 40 miles today, bro.
Bloody hell, mate.
I don't think I've run 14 miles in my life.
Do you know what it is as well, guys? It may
crawled
sound
everywhere.
Boring, obviously, as I say, it may obviously sound boring. Like, do you know when you're running so long? But do you know what it is? I just have a lot of like visions in my head, man. But I'm thinking about a lot of things, thinking about life, thinking about like what's going on and staying positive, and thinking about my next fight, what I'm gonna do when I go back. Do you know what I mean? By the time you thought of everything, you're on about 6, 7, 8 miles, and then you're like, right. Next thing, just it's just mad.
Now.
I'm gonna get home now. Yeah, like the other side of the and come back. But,
police are gonna nick me in a minute. I've been up for too long.
But no, I think it's just one of them things, man. It's just more of a because my fitness is good. Like touch with my fitness is right. It's just more of my head, really. Do you know what I mean?
It's the mental side of this. Psychological. This is hard, man.
Because if I'm running outside, that's the only time I've got to myself is go out for a run. So. Yeah, so you got to look at it, really.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's good,
man.
That's good.
What are you doing?
Me, I'm doing a bit of a clean bulk. I think since the last game we had, I realised I've got too lean. I think I withered away a lot more than I should have. So I want to I'm not eating shit. I'm eating good food, but I'm trying to put on more muscle as I can. I was 62 when I played football, and now I've gone up to 63 kilos. Obviously, you can't gain that much muscle in a short period of time.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to...
If you want to gain weight, I know exactly how to put the weight on very quickly, man.
What was that? Nachos, yeah?
Nachos, Doritos, crisps, chips.
No, but I still want the abs,
burgers.
I want to get to about 65, 66 kilos. I want to get another 3-4 kilos before I start playing football again. I want to get a bit heavier on the legs. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, it's good for them.
Yeah, that's it. I'm actually quite lucky. I actually bought dumbbells and weights and stuff.
You better say you bought a gym there, didn't you?
I bought a gym, yeah. I'm only allowed in there. But I'm lucky. I bought a couple of things a couple of years back, and when this lockdown happened, I got a guy help me clean up all the weights that had rust in it and stuff. So I'm training now in the guest house that we have.
That's good, bruv.
So
just something to do, man.
Yeah, so I'm just training, and that's it. I'm not doing any cardio or nothing. But I think when it all kicks back up, hopefully football.
What do you guys think the first game back's going to be like?
Oh, mate, it's going to be
first
terrible.
Monday or the first game you play on that, or the first.
All your lungs are going to open up, and you're going to like.
People are going to be dead after 10 minutes.
I know.
Man.
It's going to be like an elephant on your chest.
Listen, do you know what it is? Like, you boys are lucky because I only play in the big game, and obviously my first 5 minutes, I'm atrocious. I can't even pass the ball. But after that, I'm alright. But man, the next day, I'm like death, like gone through a car crash. My body just aching. Because I remember in that game, the last game I played in, I remember having a cramp, I think, for the most of the second half, but I just still carried on. I was like, nah, like I want this, you know what I mean? So I just played through a cramp. But I remember like for about 2 weeks, my calf was just, honestly, it was horrible. I couldn't even fucking...
It was like the year I broke my wrist, the first game we played. Like I didn't even know I'd broken it until the end, where at the end of the game, I went and shook Sarks' hand, and he hit my hand, and the pain that shot up my arm, I was like, what the hell? And I looked at my wrist, and it was like almost double the size.
Oh, mate, honestly, it's mad. But the thing is, it's
the
adrenaline as well.
Idiot I was as well. Instead of going to the hospital, I went straight to Downswell and had a pint with all the boys.
Look, let's be real, right? You won that game, but was it worth it, though?
What, breaking the wrist?
Just for that win?
Yeah, 100%.
Yes, bro. That's it.
There's two ways about it.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Yes, I'd do it again. But
listen, people...
Mate, I'll break everything.
People...
I don't know about that.
Put me in a wheelchair next day.
You had to today. No, I
I'm not breaking everything.
I just feel like, again, there's Tejas, again, would break a bone just to, his team would win.
Yeah, definitely.
And then there's Mitts who'll have a little dive and just like going like someone's fucking shot him, bruv. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, we've got to do another podcast with just you and Mitts, man.
Yeah, we've got to invite Mitts onto this.
Yeah.
I like listen, Mitts knows I got a lot of love for him, man. It's just one of those things, isn't it? It's just
nah,
at the moment stuff, innit? But he's
And lastly, everyone sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, like, he knows, obviously, when I speak to him, it's always banter, do you know what I mean? So
is anyone I just want to finish off, like, anyone keeping sane? How are you keeping sane? Like, mental well-being? We locked down. Just, are we all, anyone suffering? Like, is just everyone feeling okay?
I'm all right for now, I think. Another 3 weeks, we'll check back in, I guess. See what Boris and
I was just going to say, like, maybe in another week or something like that, we could do another podcast and probably ask me then, because right now I'm all right. But
you okay?
Just go, well, after that we can see, because I think it's not, with me, right, how I deal with mental health, right, is I'm working, I'm training, this and that, and it's just my mind's always busy, so I'm right. But the minute, like I said, like the very first minute of lockdown, bro, like I was just thinking so much. But then in my head, I was like, nah, this is why I got to go out for runs and stuff. And even in the house, I'm just trying to keep myself occupied, man. I was like, just reading a book or something. Like, at the minute, I'm reading Tyson Fury's book.
That's a good. That's a really good. It's got a lot of fascinating insight in that, I heard. So I've definitely read.
Do you know what, right? I've read like the first couple of chapters, and I don't know. I mean, it's mad how we've gone from football to Corona to now boxing. But obviously, if you look at like Fury's book, I felt like my opinions of Klitschko's changed massively. Like, what I mean by that is, I feel like I don't like him as a person, man. I feel like he's a bit kind of a bully. But I don't know, that's just my opinion. I feel like reading that bit, the first bit about him, about Klitschko, I feel like he's a bit of a bully, do you know what I mean? It didn't really, I feel like he looked down at Tyson, not just before, but even after the fight, because obviously that's when Tyson Fury he got worse. But he still didn't help him. You could have at least, spoke to him and said, look, mate, it's a net. Even if you remember the face-off, he just literally didn't give a shit about him. Like, he even says it on there. Oh, I don't care how you feel, sort of thing. Didn't actually say those words, but you know what I mean? He's insinuating that. But I don't know. It's just madness.
No, it's good, man. You're reading books, keeping yourself fitness, keeping you sane.
Keep going, man.
Keep going, boys. You know
Definitely.
what I mean?
Just stay safe, man, and that's it. And hopefully, once all this is over, everyone get back to normal, and we'll all
get back on that
game
football
out.
pitch.
Do you know what I mean?
Definitely,
Yeah, man. And then we'll hopefully might even organise another one this year, and then see how it goes from there.
Definitely. Let us know if you need any plays, like obviously on a Monday or Thursday. If we've got like a one less player or something, just shout me.
We always have spaces, man.
Definitely. We see.
So the way we do it, or the way I do it, is on a Sunday. I'd normally send out a text to everyone. First 13 to respond will play. Yeah, they're in, and then if anyone drops out, whoever else has said yes, they'll go down the list in terms of the order of responding. But if I don't have any players, then I'm like contacting Big Aman to ask anyone from Thursday lot or people I don't normally message, right? But I'll add you to the text.
100%, man. 100%. Yeah, just let us know.
The more players we get, the better, right? That's it.
100%,
play against different people. You play against the same players every week, you're never going to better yourself. Unfortunately.
100%. Yeah. No, it'd be good, bro. Because I barely ever play, and I don't mind kicking the ball out here and there, man. So it'll be good.
Brilliant, man. That's good. I mean, fascinating insight. Thanks, Tejas. Thanks, Sher for your insight.
I'm not getting away from the Jungle Book thing now, man.
Fuck's sake.
I'm sorry, but
I love how. Do you know what's funny, right? I love how you said my full name.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned the Jungle Book again, and that's it. Started off with Jungle Book, and that's it. It's gonna end it, isn't it? So.
You must get it when you get your ring walk and Sher Khan.
I'll get it.
A tiger's supposed to come out in a minute.
Everyone loves it. Bless them, man. It's one of them things I kind of find a bit cringy, man. Do you know, like?
Don't get me wrong, man. If I was fighting against you and someone said Sher
Khan, was your parents aware of the Jungle Book when they named you that, or they just gave you?
Of course they were, man. The Jungle Book came out years ago. The Jungle Book came out in like the 60s, did it? What the hell?
I don't even know.
I mean, I was named. The thing is, I was named after my uncle, so I think it was just one of them things. Like God bless him. He just obviously when I was born, 2 weeks after he died, so I wasn't actually named. I wasn't actually named. Like I was named probably like quite late. So, but yeah, I got my uncle's name. I'm grateful for that, though, man.
Inspiration.
So
yeah, that's quite cool.
So it's like one of them things. But yeah, no, it's good, man. You know what I mean? It's one of them things to carry it on. I might even call my son Sher Khan. Who knows? You know what I mean?
Well, it's a cool name.
Not saying I've got any kids, but you know what I mean. Still,
just don't call him.
It's all coming out now. It's all coming out in this podcast.
Too much.
Sher Khan bays everyone out and got kids.
Just don't call him Mowgli, innit? That's it.
Nah, don't. Not even Mowgli. Well, that's even worse. I feel like I get more.
Well, we don't know how what his hair's like at the moment. He's got a cap on.
No, I'm not taking that off.
You want to take it off?
You don't want to see the. You don't want to see.
We'll make a deal. When we do the second one, you got to take your cap off. Everyone 100%. Caps off. Yeah, it's fine by me. I look exactly the same, to be fair.
I shaved my hair. First time I had it short in years. Like.
Yeah, me too, man. I shaved
my hair. Yeah, but you've always had yours like that, haven't you?
No, I used to have it long, man. I had it styled and everything, man. I did like proper.
Yeah, but you used to have a skin fade before, though, didn't you? Like short.
I used to have a skin fade, but yeah, the first time I had it short. I used to wax it a little bit. It's the first time I've not waxed it.
Wax it, as in like.
No, like not wax
it. So just buy some trimmers, man. They're like 20 quid. Not expensive.
No, bro. Why don't you just ask one of us come and we'll fucking shave the back of it for you? Why would you want to wax it?
Yeah, like
no.
Yeah.
You didn't
coming out now. I'm waxing his head, bro. He's not even waxing his legs. He's waxing his head.
You know what? You're mad, bro. Fair play.
Waxing my legs. Never, man.
Nah, boy.
Maybe we're testing it. But all right, cool. Safe, boys.
I'm gonna shoot.
Nah, it's good, man. Take care, man. Honestly,
good interesting insight, and I'll speak to you guys soon. Another podcast coming soon.
Nice one.
Cheers.
Take care, man.
Take care.
See you later.
Bye.